Hi, Ricardo. I will try to solve this problem over this video, and I hope it will help you to understand hypothesis testing. It is a good problem, and that is a good question. And if you understand everything well here, you will be good to go for hypothesis testing. So let's read the first sentence of the problem. It says that a humane society claims that less than 35% of US households. So there's a claim. So remember, claim can go to H alternative or claim can go to H null. Claim can go anywhere. It doesn't matter, right? So they say that proportion of people who owns dog are less than 35%. So this is how we write that down. Okay, because we don't have any little line there, this is going to go to H alternative. And because they say claim, our claim is at that time, is this time at H alternative. So we're going to find the complementary event of it, which will be H null, P, again, population proportion, greater than or equal to 0.35%. So two things we need to be careful here. We are doing hypothesis testing for proportions. It's not going to be written here P hat, P, because all the hypothesis testing symbols should be based on parameters, right? And then whichever information is given to us first, we need to convert it. We need to mathematicize it. We could have started with H null, depending on the problem. Then we're going to move along from there. So this is what it's given, and then that's how we're going to set up our hypothesis. Okay, that's part of question A, I guess. That question was, number was 10. This is part A. So H alternative has another importance for us. Doesn't matter our claim is there or not, it decides the direction of the test, right? Because it's less than 35% population proportion, so that will be a left tail test. We need to put the picture there. All right, so now we're going to apply the formulas. So two things we need to do. We're going to look at the test statistics, which is Z, and we'll also look at the critical value, and we're going to compare critical value and test statistic and decide either reject or fail to reject H null. So this is the formula for proportion, for hypothesis testing for proportion, but MSL is offering something different. They're the same. It's going to yield the same result. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go with the ones that we're familiar with, we see in PowerPoint. So P hat, sample proportion, minus population proportion, all over population proportion times the complementary of population proportion, all over sample size. Okay, so P hat is sample proportion, P is population proportion. Population proportion was somewhere in the, it must be coming from the hypothesis testing structure, right? So sample proportion. So we're taking 402 people as a sample, and 156 of them says yes. So that's why we're taking that ratio, and it is going to give us that number written here, 0.388. Okay, P was given as 35. Because I need Q in my formula, I can subtract it from 1 and I can find my Q, and this will be our Z formula, right? 0.388 minus 0.35, P hat minus P, all over P times Q, all over N. Now I need to do this job in Excel, okay? So my suggestion is do the top, write it down, do the bottom, write it down, and then do the division. So that will be our test statistics, Z value. Now we need to find the critical value depending on our alpha, right? I guess alpha in the problem is given as 0.1. So norm.S inverse 1 minus 0.1. So this will be our critical value. All right, now, since normal distribution is symmetric, we're going to place those values on the shape, this one and this one, and we're going to make the comparison and decide, right? So remember, we were doing a right tail test. Because we're doing right tail test, I'm going to take the negative one of it. Okay, so that will be my critical value. My test statistic will be falling here, right? Which will be 1.599, right? So remember again, this is the rejection region. All right, and this is fail to reject region. And because 1.599 is on the right hand side of negative 1.281, we're going to say that we fail to reject H null, and I guess there's part D on that problem, so you're going to circle accordingly the correct interpretation of it. Hope that helps. Thanks for the good question, though. All right, bye.